let's look at this set of questions. Fishbourne Roman Palace. So we are starting with true false not given. Again, we start with the sentence, with the questions. Number one says, Fishbourne Palace was the first structure to be built on its site. So I'm looking at the passage now. Fishbourne Roman Palace in the village of Fishbourne in West Sussex, England. A large palace was built around 30 years after the Roman conquest of Britain on the site of, no, it's not the first. This number one is false. It was not the first structure. This thing says on the site of the Roman army grain stores. So it was not the first. Number two, Fishbourne Palace was renovated more than once. Okay, let's continue that paragraph. One, on the site, okay, during the reign of Emperor Claudius in 43 AD. The rectangular palace was built around formal gardens, the northern half of which have been reconstructed. There were extensive alterations. That's renovation. Renovated, number two says renovated more than once. So renovation in the second and third. So that means that's more than once. So number two is true. Number three, Fishbourne Palace was large in comparison to Roman palaces in Italy. Was large. Is there anything like comparison in this paragraph? One. I can't say anything like comparison in this paragraph. One. Let me check the next set of questions. The first buildings on the site contained food for the, that's army. I saw something, grain stores. Roman army grain stores. So, site of Roman army grain stores. So that would be what? Contained food for the Roman army. Notice that thing is capital R. Roman, R-O-M-A-N. Then A-R-M-Y. That's how you write your answer. Because that's how they wrote it here. Roman. Look at it here. Roman army. Roman army. So that's how I'm writing my answer. The palace building surrounded. I saw something around. The rectangular palace was built around formal gardens. The rectangular palace was built around formal gardens. So it surrounded formal gardens. You can write gardens or formal gardens. Gardens. Let me put gardens there. If gardens is not right, then formal gardens. Answer cannot be formal. Okay? So I'll put gardens. In the 2nd and 3rd century, color was added to the dash of the palace. Color, I saw color somewhere. Look, see colored ones here, colored. So it says, let me read from the top. There were extensive alterations in the 2nd and 3rd centuries AD, with many of the original black and white mosaic floors. Floors, that's the word. Color was added to the floors. F-L-O-O-R-S. To the floors. Notice this S is plural. To the floors. So I think that's that for paragraph 1. This paragraph 2, discovery. I've not reached the point of discovery yet. Local people had long believed that a Roman palace once existed in the area. However, it was not until 1960 that the archaeologist Barry Conliffe first systematically excavated the site after workmen had accidentally uncovered a wall while they were laying a water main. Hold on. The first part of the palace to be found was part of a wall. Can you see? A wall. So this number 10 is going to be wall. W-A-L-L. Wall. Okay? They uncovered a wall. So that's part of the palace. That's when these archaeologists went there and then they checked. And they confirmed that there's a structure here. So, you see, I'm reading between the lines. Okay? Number 3, Fishbourne Palace was large. I've not yet seen anything like this number 3. Let's continue. The Roman villa excavated by Conliffe's team was so grand. Grand means very big. Was so grand that it became known as Fishbourne Roman Palace. And a museum was erected to preserve some of the remains. This is administered by the Sussex Archaeological Society. Okay, I've not yet seen this comparison. I've only seen grand. Let me check the gap filling. Is there anything I can answer? Okay, I've not seen all this. I've not seen this name. So let me continue. In its day, The completed palace would have comprised 4 large wings with colonnaded fronts. Okay, hold on. Now they're describing that palace. Fishbourne Palace, this is number 3, was large in comparison with, okay, back to the passage. Large wings with colonnaded fronts. The north and east wings consisted of suites of private rooms built around courtyards, with a monumental entrance in the middle of the east wing. In the northeast corner, there was an assembly hall. The west wing contained staterooms, a large ceremonial reception room, okay, 50 mosaic floors. Fishbourne Palace would have been approximately, hold on, now pay attention here. See this part I've highlighted. Fishbourne Palace would have been approximately equivalent to some of the great Roman palaces of Italy. Look at that statement 3. Fishbourne Palace was large in comparison with Roman palaces in Italy. Large. Statement 3 says large. The passage says approximately equivalent. That's something like they are of the same size, most likely. So this number 3 is going to be false. I'm going to pick false for number 3. I'm going to pick false. Number 4, research is continuing. Okay. So let's see. Roman palaces of Italy, and was by far the largest. Hold on. See largest here. And was by far the largest known Roman residence. Oh, in the north of the European Alps. They didn't say largest whatever in Italy. So number 3 is still false. Number 3 is still false. Because here they are talking about European Alps. So that's bigger than Italy. Now, next sentence. A team of volunteers and professional archaeologists are involved in an ongoing. That's number 4. Research is continuing. Yes, that's true. Number 4 is true. Okay. Then, let me see the gap filling again. Kodibung, I've not seen this name yet. So let me just go back and continue with my true false not given. Number 5 says researchers agreed on the identity of the person for whom Fishbourne Palace was constructed. Okay. The first building to be erected on the site were constructed in the early part of the conquest in 43 AD. Later, 2 timber buildings were constructed, one with clay and mortar floors. Okay, these buildings were demolished in the 60s AD and replaced by substantial stone house, which included colonnades and a bath suite. It has been suggested that the palace itself was constructed around 73. Okay, however, Dr. Russell of Bournemouth University reinterpreted the ground plan and the collection of objects found and has suggested that given the extremely close parallels with the imperial palace of Domitian in Rome, its construction may more plausibly date to after 92 AD. This number 5, I have not seen anything like this yet. With regard to who lived in Fishbourne Palace, there are a number of theories. Number 5 says researchers agree. No, this thing that says there are a number of that means there are different researchers are saying different things. So number 5 is false. They do not agree. Then number 6, Fishbourne Palace was burnt down by local people. Burnt down. Okay. So Kodibungos, that's that name in the gap filling. Kodibungos, can you see that? A local chieftain. Okay, so these are the possible people that lived there. Okay. Number 11 is connected to Lukulu. Lukulu. He may have lived there until approximately -AD. Where's AD is a keyword here. AD should be easy to locate. See Lukulu here. Can you see Lukulu? So if you go down, you can see AD here, 93 AD. So this one is going to be 93. I'm sure it's going to be 93 AD. Until approximately 93. So Lucullus, look at it. Lucullus was executed by Emperor Domitian in or shortly after 93 AD. So that makes number 11, 93. Verica. Verica, can you see Verica here? Then Cartaros. See Cartaros here. Cartaros, what does the past question say? Cartaros, his dash was found there. Okay. Cartaros, following the recent discovery of a gold ring belonging to him. Gold ring. His gold ring. Gold ring. His gold ring. Then, present day, a dash has been built on the site to protect it. A museum now. A museum. I saw museum somewhere at the beginning. They said they built a museum. where is that museum now? But funny thing is, we hardly go back when it comes to gap filling. But I saw museum somewhere. Look at it. A museum was erected to preserve some of the remains. Museum. So this number 13 is most likely going to be museum. A museum is singular. But let me check towards the end whether they will mention museum again. Can you see again? Modern museum. A modern museum had been built by the Success Archaeological Society. That's it. So, museum is our answer. What if we write modern museum? Well, I think I'll just leave it as museum. Then the last question. Fishbourne Palace was burned down by local people. Burnt down. Okay, if you look at this place, I can see fire here. See fire. Fire. So let's read it. Further redevelopment was begun in the late 3rd century AD, but these alterations were incomplete when the north wing was destroyed in a fire. The north wing. Notice it did not say the palace. That question number 6 says the palace was burned down. That suggests that the entire palace. And then local people. There's nothing like local people. They just said a fire. We don't know who started the fire. So, number 6, I'm going to pick not given for number 6. I've answered all the questions. Ladies and gentlemen, let's submit. And let's see what my score is going to be. 8.5. Wow, I got one question wrong. Number 13. Instead of museum, they said the answer is modern museum. Can you see? That last paragraph, they wrote modern museum there, but I felt that modern was not necessary. Assuming I wrote modern museum, I would have gotten. But I think museum 2 should be correct. This website doesn't accommodate brackets. That's one thing I've noticed about this website. But if you have practiced with Cambridge series before, you will notice that they usually put some things in brackets. So I'm guessing that in this case, it's very likely that modern will be in brackets, and then museum will be the compulsory one. So, that's just that's that for that anyway. Let me not talk too much about that. So that's for this particular passage, Fishbourne Roman Palace. Okay. So I hope you understand all my explanation. You see the way I've identified all the answers. You can see the correct answers here and my own answers too. Okay? Thank you very much.